Basically,
There you go. I need to record it. I got it.
it's Save Your Summer, and the spirit of today's content or conversation for those of you, Riker, Sarah, Cheryl, Tracy, unmute yourself, like show your camera, like let's have a cool conversation. Steve and I and Josh and Matt can talk the whole time, but we'd really rather talk to you guys about what you're seeing in your market. But I'll kick it off with what we're seeing nationwide, and my own team as well, is just fatigue. And what I mean by fatigue is that we've been running, like as an industry, we've been running since like for some of you even earlier, but certainly since like August or September, like we've been running 100 miles an hour. And if you look in most markets, and there's exceptions to this, but like 90% of the country has massive seasonality, meaning that like 70% of the houses sell somewhere between May and September. I was looking even back in the recession of 2011, there was a lot less homes selling, but it was still 70% of whatever sold, 60, 70% was like in that 5 or 6 month window. If you start doing the math on that, then you look at the other side, right, the other quarters, and you look at that kind of November, December, January, February, that means we're only closing like 15% of the homes. And the reason I'm camping on this is because we did not have a typical winter slowdown. In fact, we're the opposite. We're in a white hot market, about as busy and robust nationwide as we've ever seen. And then you throw on top of that the fact that for some of our clients who were super motivated, we might have written 4, 5, 10, 12 offers, 50, 100, and some markets 200,000, 300,000 over asking to get accepted. And that's fatigue in its own right as well. So as we talk about Save Your Summer, it's like, let's set up some systems. Let's set up a mindset. Let's set up some habits that can help us get, and especially like with the world opening, Portland, Oregon, or actually Oregon completely just opened up yesterday. It's the first time we can go in public, Steve, without a mask on. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind Arizona, but so be it. But I've had 2 great vacations in the last couple of weeks, one to Alaska and one to Florida, and it's like the airports are packed. People are out experiencing and enjoying life again. And so we want our clients and we want our community and we want our industry to ensure they have the ability to enjoy their life and to not be completely burned out from running at extremely fast speed for the last 8 months. So my hope today is we'll have some topics and conversations of how do we continue to do this much business, and how do we get balance? How do we go on vacations? How do we turn our phone off at 6 or 7 o'clock most nights and just enjoy ourselves? Cooley, anything you want to add to that?
You're awesome. Tell me more stories.
I think you're amazing. All right, well, let's just dive in with an org chart really quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. Losing, winning. All right, some of you have certainly seen this before. Typical org chart. Every agent's a CEO. Like, where do I work? Do I attend this webinar today? Mr. Cooley, do I sleep in? Do I hire a team? Do I buy Zillow leads? Like, those are CEO decisions. Listing agent, of course, well, we know what that is at this stage. We go out and we take listings. We dominate listings at a high level. It's the highest form of leverage. It's the highest dollar per hour return. Nothing pays us more than getting a listing contract signed and getting it on the market. And certainly in a market like this, 99% of the time it's going to sell, and it's going to sell quickly. But even in a down market, listings are just leverage. They don't take all that time and energy the buyers take. And then, of course, right, Katie, what happens when we go and take that listing? We have to go back to our office, our home office, and what do we have to do with that listing?
I go be an admin. We have to go input it, do all the back end work.
Yeah. We've got a past client of ours, a 20-year past client, Amy Richter, that signed contracts with us today, and we're helping her over the next 3 weeks. The renters moved out of her property, and they're getting it staged, and we're doing painting, and we're refreshing the yard, getting all of that put together. And then as you shared, Katie, we've got to enter it to the MLS, and we have all this. We have to create marketing. All of that's the admin job. Right, in most markets around the country, that's like a $14 to $30 an hour job. We're being a listing agent, most agents around the country, if you really think of the time that you're actually the surgeon of the business, that's probably paying $5,000 to $10,000 an hour. It really is. And then the buyer's agent is a form of surgery as well. That's where it's like, okay, well, being a buyer's agent to me is negotiating contracts, solving high level problems, winning in multiple offer situations. If your market is shifting a little bit, we're certainly seeing that around the country. I had a call with Zillow today, actually, chief executive officer there, and he was sharing they're seeing minor shifts around the country, just less multiple offers. Inventory is creeping up. So being a buyer's agent in some markets is helping your client get a good deal. That's the surgery side of the business. And the last part of the org chart is showing homes, opening doors at a high level, being knowledgeable about the market. But let's be clear, opening doors at a high level is a really different role than being the surgeon and writing the contract and doing everything possible to get your client's offer accepted. So to be a buyer's agent is probably worth $1,000-$2,000 an hour, not as much as a listing agent, but certainly substantially more than opening doors at a high level as a showing agent. So I only camp on this because most agents have these 5 jobs on any given day. We certainly do when we go into real estate. And part of getting balance is essentially bringing leverage into our world. So if we look at some of those roles like opening doors, or we look at the admin department, and we just put up on the org chart, well, who could do that for us? Josh, how many admin do you have?
3.
We do as well. What's the size of your team?
10.
Yeah, we're at 3.
Wait, 9.
So we're at 14 with 3 full-time admin, 1 part-time admin, and 1 virtual assistant. Not good or bad. That's just where we're at. That's the service level we provide. We actually had a really good conversation with our administrative team a couple of days ago. My wife and I did. It's like, we want to be really clear to you. You represent 2. You've got a hard job because you're servicing our buyers and sellers. But who else do the admin service at a really high level?
The team.
Yeah. I mean,
Agents.
make no mistake that a successful admin department should look at the team or look at the salespeople in the team. That's also their client. How do we take things off their plate? How do we leverage that? How do we make their life easier? How do we actually enable them to take the evening off? Because we're so organized today getting things knocked out that their phone's not going to ring tonight. It's the admin's job. To me, the most important thing an admin can do is work on database. I would love to see Cheryl, Reger, Tracy, Parkinson, Marcia, Lisa, Marie, get to see you, but I'd actually love to see you guys. Like, don't be shy. Feel free to turn your cameras on. If you're clothed, that'd be kind of rad. Let's interact. Let's talk. Let's hear what's going on in your business.
Sorry, Craig. I'm out of state on a family medical emergency, so I don't have a camera. So,
well, Tracy, we're sorry to hear
black
that.
screen only.
And we're very grateful to have you on. Thank you.
Sarah. Oh, wow. Hi.
Good to see you guys. A couple things we do with admin if we're going to talk about hiring, training, and leading. On the training side, I'll just kind of jump to that. Josh, Phil, and anything that you're doing different, Steve, the rest of you, is that the first thing I do when I start coaching somebody is that's out of balance, Josh. Right? We have a lot of people attracted to coaching for a couple of reasons. One is they want more balance. Often they want to do more business. The first thing we'll have them do is I'll have you write a list of everything you're currently doing, Steve, that you never want to do again. Right? Just keep it on your phone or have a yellow pad in your car or text yourself. But every time you do an activity for the next 14 days that you absolutely hate doing, just make a note of it. Ran to put a lockbox on, inputted a house in the multiple listing at midnight, turned in paperwork to my company. Right, every single real estate company on the planet requires that you turn in your documentation and paperwork to them. So if those are things, for example, that you don't enjoy doing, write them down. And what we'll find, Steve, over the course of a couple of weeks, we've actually created a job description. Just that simple. We've created a job description. And just for fun, when I'm personally coaching agents, after they compile that list, Josh, I'll go through it with them and I'll say every one of those activities that you hate doing, Laura, you never want to do again, every single one of those, put $1 per hour activity. Like, what could you pay somebody else to do that for? And the vast majority of the time, what we see, Marcia, is it ranges from about $14 to $25 an hour. Isn't that pretty wild? Like, it just does. And so, like, that's an easy role to replace ourselves with.
Crazy to think that is a CEO activity.
What do you mean, Cooley?
By making that list, you're working on the business, right?
Yeah.
So to make that list, you're probably making 5,000 or 10,000 an hour by doing that, and to build your org chart where you're going. And I see that a lot. As I'll see an org chart and it's like, well, that's where you are today. Where's the growth in that? And that's that list, right? You build your org chart for where you're going.
Well, we look at a market like we're in Cooley. It's hard to focus on that growth when we're grinding. I talked to one of the top agents in the country yesterday. And I mean, he came on my coaching call and he looked like he got run over by a truck. He's making a fortune, but he literally looked beat down. I was like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, I'm tired. I was like, how many hours a week are you working right now? 70? The guy's working 70 hours a week. Like, to me, that's not cool. And to him, it's not cool. And as a dad and a husband, it's not cool. I'm sure he's making a truckload of money, but at this point, he doesn't even care about the money. He's just massively lacking leverage in his life.
Let me make sure that if they're on here, I'll ask them to share it.
Cool.
I heard something yesterday that was just insane. So somebody lost a $4 million listing and they also had the buyer. The deal fell out of escrow. And she said to me, looking in my eyes on Zoom, and I'm happy because I am burnt out and I didn't want to deal with it right now.
Wow.
$8 million in volume. And with a smile, I was like, and I'm happy, I'm burnt.
It's pretty wild. It's just getting over that fact that like people hire us. They don't hire us. They hire our standards, right? They hire our belief system. They hire our culture. An example of that is I'm really fast. If you text me more times than not, especially if you're a client of mine, you're going to get a response almost immediately during normal business hours or shortly thereafter. So if that's the culture that my company's created, and I bring Steve into my company as a buyer's agent, and I start handing my buyers over to Steve, my past clients, and Steve is a great agent, but it takes him 2 hours to respond to each text, there'll be a breakdown, right? People so much believe that our clients will only work with us. They work with our standards. And our job, as Josh indicated as CEO, one is get clarity of what is it we're not doing, create that future vision, and then hire to it. That's a great CEO activity. And then 2 is the training. So anybody want to share what their favorite training program looks like?
Training program?
How do you train, Josh? Like, great, I started your company today. I'm fresh out of real estate school. What do you have me do? What does that look like? How long does it go for?
You know, this is I don't want to say a weak point for me, but you got your 30, 60, 90 deal. I have a real simple way to train. I provide the vision and I provide the outcome I want. The result, the what and the why. And then I hire talent and I let them tell me how they want to do it. And that's day one. That's also in the interview process. So in the interview process, we'll go through, this is the role and this is what we're looking to do. How would you approach that? And Sarah's heard this a million times from me. I think we overthink the training and it stops some people from making the hire. Right. So when you're interviewing, you're saying, hey, this is where I want to take the business, or this is what we need next. What do you think you would do to do that? And I've hired people just we've got a database person we just hired, and Sarah and I talked about this yesterday, working 50 hours a month just because I liked how she approached working the database and setting up events. I'm like, I want to hire you. Will you do that for me? And then I gave her logins to the website she needs to do the job, and she's designing it. No real estate experience whatsoever, but I liked how she approached that part of the business. So my training is hire smart people and get out of the way.
Well, you use the word talent when you started the conversation and you ended it with hire smart people. Sarah likes that. It's true, right? We can exhaust ourselves with trying to push unmotivated people to accomplish great things. Yeah, we can hire talented, smart people who are motivated, and we can set a vision for them. And you're right, Josh, with some very basic training, we can just simply get out of the way. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't call that a weak point, Josh. I would call that a skill. You're very clear on your standards and who you allow into your organization. And I know your organization in and out. You've got insanely mad talent, but it's because you sought that out up front. For us, it's similar. It's a little different. It is identical. We only bring talent to the organization. We work incredibly hard and almost tiresome to find talent. It can take us upwards of 6 months to bring somebody into the organization, not necessarily, Katie, a 6-month interview, but a 6-month journey. We might go through 20, 30, 15, 12, 32 candidates before we actually say, Sarah, you're rad. We really want to be part. We want to go deeper with you. We want to be part of this company. And that's exhausting. It's so much easier to be like, Katie's pretty great. There's a lot I like about her, and I'm super tired. I'm working 70 hours a week. Katie, please come in. But we've learned through many years of doing this and coaching and running our own businesses that strategy can work when we allow people to come in, but the vast majority of the time it fails. But to Josh's point, we're in the talent and it just takes off. What we do, Josh, and you brought up 30, 60, 90, and I've seen thousands of these, we don't complicate it, is our clarity is destiny for the first 90 days. We have all the goals. In other words, here's what you will accomplish. Steve, welcome to the company. You have to sell one house in your first 30 days, period. You're literally going into a real estate sales business. You have to sell one house in your first 30 days to be in our company by day 31. Do we make exceptions to that, Josh? Of course we do. If I see somebody working 11, 12, 13 hours a day to hit that goal and the cards just don't stack up and it doesn't come together, I'm not going to cut them on day 31. What I want and what I'm looking for is that mentality that they have clarity of the goal I've set for them and they'll do whatever activities they can do to hit it. We'll have clarity in our first 30 days. They have to set a minimum of 10 appointments. We'll give you call list. We'll give you scripts. We'll give you our past clients. We're certainly going to be working with your sphere and communicating with them. But you've got to set 10 appointments, Josh. And to me, I don't care if they're I don't care if they're axe murderers. I don't care if they cancel. I don't care if they no-show you. Not in the first 30 days. All I care about is that you build the muscle memory and the habits of what it's like to set appointments. Because if I can get you to schedule at least 10 appointments in your first 30 days, I can predict you're going to have a very successful career. And to your point, Josh, that's why I'm able to get out of the way. When we go through this 30 goal, 60 goal, and 90 goal, on day 91, it becomes really fun. It's like, Josh, you hit 90% of the goals we set for you. You've got 5 homes in escrow. You've already had 1 close. You set a total of 40 appointments in your first 90 days. I could not be more excited for your future in this industry. Now let's talk about your goals and only your goals. And let's talk about how I and my company and my team can be a vehicle to help you reach them. So for us, it's a little different than you, Josh. The first 90 days, we've got benchmarks that we require they hit, and we have massive DNA on showing up for those. On day 91, for the rest of their career, it's all about them. But I think with your system or my system, there's a reason why the average member of my team sells 40 homes a year. Some sell 70 to 90. It's because of what we're doing up front. The one thing I'll share in leading, we've got to show up, agents. Sorry, we've got to show up, CEOs. We have to show up. If I tell Steve, like, Steve, cool, like, really excited to help you hit that goal, pay off your debt, and buy your first rental property, like, that's what we're going to focus on, and selling homes is going to be the vehicle. Let's meet every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. How does that sound, Steve?
Sounds great.
What do you guys think mega agents do? Because all of you came from a platform and background of being a mega agent before you became a CEO and a business owner. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So if we go out of the CEO and go back into mega agents, like, okay, I'm going to meet with Steve. CEO says I'm going to meet with Steve every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Here's what mega agent does. Is the mega agent says, ring, ring, hey, Steve, I know it's 12:30. I just got a phone call from a past client. They've got this incredible house at $1.2 million. They want to sell. They want to sell it now. I've got to cancel with you, Steve, but I'll get back together with you tomorrow. That's what happens when we revert back to being the mega agent from the CEO, is we make all of our priorities as an industry more important than the people we've hired. Am I the only one that's ever seen that? I've seen it thousands of times. And it's not because we're bad people. It's not because we don't care. It's just, we are just grinding so hard and working so fast and so committed to the client experience that we feel at that moment the best thing for our company is to go and dominate that listing. And we lose track of the fact that we committed to Steve to help him pay off debt and buy his first rental property and show up for him. So to me, the number one most important thing we can do in leadership is actually show up. We show up And they might even overhear that conversation. It's like, wow, I'm so excited that you want to sell your $1.2 million house and hire me today. And I'm so excited you want to see me at 1 o'clock. And I've got a meeting I cannot move, but I'll come over at any point from 2:30 till 9 p.m. tonight. Like, your team can hear that conversation often because you're in the same environment. And what they take from it is, wow, like Josh is really committed to helping me pay off that debt and buy that rental home. So when we show up that way, how do you think our team shows up?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that was my little rant, but it's an overlooked thing we don't talk about very often. Yet it's one of the most consistent issues I see with these mega agents who are used to moving fast and used to multitasking and used to running 1,000,000 miles an hour. And when we go into the CE role, we got to slow down. We got to be consistent with our people.
You meet your team where they are.
What does
Right.
that look like?
And so each team member has a different personality, right? They're a different human being, but they have goals. So I'll slow down on this. You go to a listing presentation or to take a listing and you ask, what's your goal? What are you doing? How can we help? And you design a plan with that client to list the home and sell it. Someone joins your team. What's your goal? Where are we going? Their goal becomes my goal. And that's my job, right? So again, with the vision is we sell real estate. That's the business we're in. The outcomes, we want excellent service to our clients to get repeat business and to build a great business and serve community. And in the middle, each agent does it how differently, right? So when I show up, I'm showing up to support each team member and their goal, right?
It's amazing.
Their goal becomes my goal.
Hey, Josh,
Everyone in our organization knows that.
say something about that too. That was actually one of the biggest ahas I had in our coaching, was when you had said, go to where they're at, knowing that, been in the business for 15 years and I'm hiring someone, I'm like, why don't you know this stuff? Whereas instead of being frustrated, I really had to take a step back and saying, I have to go into teaching mode, not for a long period of time, but just to know that patience actually really helped smooth out a lot of the insecurities that they had, and were able to allow them to take on more responsibility because they were ready to do it because they knew I supported them. And that came from you. And I want to say thank you. That was really great advice.
Awesome. And you did it really well. And that's hard because you are the go mega agent. And so what Sarah did is she starts adding people on our team. How many of you hired? 3, 4?
We have a client manager who was supposed to be an admin, did not make a good when she's there. And then we've got a VA that supports her on transactions, marketing person, buyer's agent, myself, and then 2 showing agents.
Wow.
So what we've learned in a year together, or what Sarah and I have learned together, is she would hire people and then not give the job away. And so now she had 5 jobs.
She was paying people to do them, but she
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, if you give someone a job and then you take 20% of it back and you have 5 people, you do realize you just killed your entire schedule.
And your wallet.
And how long did we go without prospecting, Sarah, or doing any I don't have time. I'm too busy being an admin for my admin.
Yeah. But it took to get that comfort level, and that 30, 60, 90 is pretty telling, because once they figure it out and you train them, you get them to a point where you can let go. And funny enough, I'm now testing them. But another thing that's really interesting, Josh, I don't know if you do this, but I think you've also kind of helped me with this, is you hire people in pairs where you have one and you got an alpha and a beta so they can see each other. What I found is you put 2 people together, they're like stars. They kind of like they train each other. They work together, and the one will ask a question, the other one will figure it out. One's basically supporting the other. That's actually been really interesting, as well as the fact it helps protect the team. If someone needs to go on vacation or if they leave, then I have someone on the bench and I don't have to feel like I'm completely out. That's been really nice, having someone during the week and then having that weekend person that's a flex. Also doing that cross training, that SEAL team kind of training. It's helped take a lot of stress off of the people and given them the time to slow down so that they can learn and not feel that I'm shotgunning things at them, and starting them off at part-time, bringing them on full-time once they are full employees and they get it. That's also been really helpful on my wallet. and helping them shadow people so that they feel more confident. It's been amazing. And I can see it now. And I hope that you see that I am letting go a little bit more.
I do. And congratulations to you, because the first call that we ever had, you said in the first 5 minutes that you identified as a mother, and that's been on my screen every time we coach, that you weren't able to let go until we remind you that you're doing it because you identify as a mother, and it made everything else easy. So you went from no help to actually a pretty damn successful team that's set for growth, and you're still learning to get out of the way. But this is what I love about coaching, is watching these things happen so naturally. And we met Sarah where she was, right? God, you didn't want to give anything away.
Thank you for sharing, Sarah. And I love, you gave so many great nuggets. And one of them was hiring pairs. Our incredible coach, Adam Rutledge, he hires in threes. He's really stepped up his game. He hires in threes. And he's like, because then I get the metrics, right? I have Katie, Steve, and Laura all starting within the same week. And in 30 days, Steve sold 3 homes, Katie sold 1, Laura sold 0. And that's not saying Laura sucks, but the metrics start showing up. And then the second, but it's a reality, right? And then, but you can also see the habits and the mindset. So there's it's leverage for us because we're able to train 3 people at once instead of 1 every 90 days or 100 days or whenever we hire. And 2, as Sarah shared, they're helping each other. They're brainstorming, they're bouncing ideas. They're also probably, if it's talent, as Josh indicated, they're pushing each other. And last but not least, we really get to see the metrics. Well, why did Steve and Katie start at the exact same time? And 90 days into it, Steve has 8 deals in escrow and Katie has 1. So it's a really smart strategy. And what you shared about taking the job back after you've hired, it sounds like you and Josh are doing extremely well there. And for the rest of you, you can still do that exercise, right, Katie? And I've seen you do this before. You don't have to wait until you hire to make a list of things you don't want to do. You might be paying $30, $70, $150,000 a year right now in payroll. And somehow you're still doing a bunch of activities that maybe a period of time before you actually thought you were hiring somebody to do. So it's not a bad activity every quarter to go through about a 7-day period or a 12-day period. And again, write down like, I didn't enjoy doing that. I don't want to do that. And that becomes a really easy conversation. Just go back to the person like, Katie, I love you. You've been an incredible admin. You are an incredible admin. And I've got more clarity of what it is that I need you to do, that I'm paying you to do, that I've hired you to do. And these 3 things I'm currently doing, and I need to get these off of my plate. So why don't we spend the next few days talking about it, answering any questions, any training you might need. And after that, I don't ever want to do these again. Are you cool with that? So it's good exercise to bring back to the table with your current hires. It's my favorite analogy. It's like we are so nice to our hires because we're just good people, right? And at the end of the day, it's like a nurse going to the doctor. So what do nurses often do? Like you check in and they take your blood pressure, they take your weight, they take your temperature, they put that thing on your arm that I absolutely can't stand, take your blood pressure. They do that, right? So imagine the nurse going to the doctor, Josh. It's like, doc, I really love it here, but I just don't like taking people's temperatures. The whole mouth thing freaks me out. I'm out. I don't want to do that. And in real estate, what we do is we say, that's okay, Katie. I'll take the temperatures. You do everything else. But imagine in that field, Steve, I know you're smiling, but in that field, the doctor would be like, you're an amazing human being and you clearly picked the wrong industry. You shouldn't be a nurse. So we have a habit in this industry of taking jobs back. Josh, do you want to switch gears a little bit and talk about hiring? Like, where do we find this talent, this incredible talent you're looking for? Where do you find it?
Do you want a weird answer? Of course you do. I think you put it out into the universe that, what you're building and you attract them. Talk to your database. I've had talent approach the team more than I've approached talent, as weird as that is. Someone will just show up and say, hey, I'm new to the area and want to get into real estate. And I looked online and found you. But I think you make a plan and you set a vision on it and you just go like hell, right? You're 50 million, all right? Set the vision, commit, and talent will find you. And I don't know if that's ever going to be in a book or I can prove that, but that's my answer.
I agree. I think there's you can prove it. Your businesses that you own, multiple of them have proven it multiple times, Josh. What do you got, Sarah?
So one thing too that, and Josh was kind enough to share his admin contract with me. So I kind of took little things here and there. One of the things that he put in there that I thought was really brilliant that I'm also implementing is he'll give a bonus to that person for any hire that is retained for over a year. And it's a small amount. It's like, what was it, like $100, $1,000, something like that. And actually what I found is in my business, my client manager, she came from the Wenti Winery. She's the event planner. She did weddings. So she's talented, customer service, also very organized and team oriented because she knows how to manage different departments. So funny enough, with the pandemic, a lot of the people that were in the hospitality were left unemployed. So I found that my best source has been those people who've already been vetted because they work together. One thing that I did find that's interesting is it could be a double-edged sword. Sometimes you want people who know each other. Sometimes you might not, because you might have them come together and go against you, which I've also heard. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen them because they're in different departments. One's marketing, the other one's clients, that they have their own disciplines. But I would definitely encourage talking to the people that you know or the people that you respect and just say, hey, even admins of other people's admins, do you know anyone? I want someone like you. That's been good.
So Craig, you said make our list, the CEO list of things you don't want to do. Day one, I will tell people in our business office that as we grow, you will get to be more specialized in what you love to do and you're great at. So day one, as we get going, start writing down things that take energy away from you or you don't absolutely love. Doesn't mean you're not going to do them now, but that's what we're going to hire for next, and then be looking for that person. So that's exactly right. I mean,
well, Josh, I do want to focus on hiring and finding talent, but you just brought up retention, which is kind of the final leg of today's call. It's like we talked about showing up. If I've got a meeting with Steve at 1 o'clock every single week on Tuesday to talk about paying off debt, hitting his goals, and buying his first investment property, if I show up for that meeting every single Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and 6 or 12 months from now, Steve buys his first rental property, what are the odds of Steve ever leaving my business? Because we know what's going to happen. As soon as Steve buys his first investment property, we're going to be like, okay, let's go to where you're at, Steve. What do you want next? Where do you want to be in this world? And then we focus back over on Josh, and Josh is literally telling his talent on day one, hey, start being aware or making a list of things that you don't fully enjoy doing. And I'm not telling you at this point, you don't have to do them, but I want awareness of it, because as we grow and as we scale and as you're more successful, as the leader of this organization, I am committed to helping you get those things off your plate. Right? Retention. I was telling Destiny about it. She's new from real estate. For those of you that don't know Destiny, she was a Disney princess for 10 years in California. Pretty cool, Destiny. And so she's been doing that amazing job at RCC for the last 4 months in our backend system. She also owned her own business outside of being a Disney princess. So she came in with a really cool resume. And I was like, I really want to talk about retention today. She's like, why? And it's like, because most teams around the country burn through 40 to 60% of their personnel about every 8 to 14 months. Katie, team leader, Laura, team leader, Matt, previous team leader. Am I making up those numbers, or would you say those are fairly accurate?
Spot on.
And then you look at people like Josh Cooley, who I don't know if you've lost anybody in the last 5 years. And it's pretty telling when you show up and say, hey, start making a list of things you don't enjoy doing, because as you're successful, I'm committed to getting those off your plate so you can do what you love doing. That's how you keep people. That's how you keep people. And I say, Steve, I'll meet with you Tuesday at 1 every week to help you reach your goals. And we show up and we actually help him reach his goals. That's how you keep people. There's not a member of my sales team in real estate, because I do have a real estate team, that could not go out and absolutely crush it on their own. Why don't they? Because my wife and I and our team show up every single week. And as Josh said, all we do is work to help them reach their goals. And it sounds silly, but if they reach their goals, we'll certainly reach ours. You know, back to hiring, Josh, I agree in all aspects. If you tell the world what you want, the world will give it to you. You tell the world you want to be worth 50 million over and over and over. I'm not saying like brag and put on social media, I want to be worth 50 million, but if that is truly the focus of your DNA and what you get out of bed to accomplish, at some point in this world, I bet you're worth $50 million. If you tell the world in your DNA every single day is I will find talent, I will interview talent, I will create opportunity for talent, I will help talent reach their goals faster than they could ever reach them on their own, I guarantee you the world will give you talent. And I loved what Sarah said. It's like, you know what? Our best talent, not just myself, the folks we coach and meet and interview around the country, it doesn't come from Indeed. It doesn't come from Craigslist. It doesn't come from Monster. It comes from the people we know. It comes from our database. Who is a better representation or referral than a client of yours that received your outstanding customer service? They received your culture, they received your belief system, and they enjoyed it. When you go to them and say, Katie, you've been amazing and congrats on your home, we are growing. You've got to experience kind of who we are. Do you know of anybody that might be interested in a career in real estate, either in the administrative side or a sales job? You'll get the best referrals on the planet. And back to Josh about hiring talent, talent is an attraction magnet. For those of you following the NBA at all, we've got a new coach here in Portland that had some questionable decisions in the past, like 20 years ago, and it's coming out. And our superstar, our soon-to-be Olympian, Damian Lillard, is threatening to leave Portland. Where is Dame going to go if he goes, Josh? Is he going to go to a shitty team?
No.
Why not?
Because he doesn't have to. He can go wherever he wants.
Well, what do you think Dame wants most of all as a basketball player?
A ring?
He wants a ring. So Dame, if he is to leave Portland, I sure hope he does it. I guarantee you he's going to go to a team with great coaches, great staff, and really great basketball players that give him the highest probability of getting a ring. Are our businesses really any different? If we focus, like Josh said, and we only allow talent into our world, we become a talent magnet. And as Josh said, it's very rare that he reaches out to people. Like people are reaching out to him saying, hey, can I talk to you about your organization? Because when you build something that good, other people want to be part of it and they will seek you out. You become that talent magnet. You become the organization that the next Damian Lillard or Michael Jordan or of real estate calls you and says, hey, I want to get on your bus. I want to be part of this. I want my championship ring. Pretty cool. So yeah, today is a higher level conversation, but I pray that every single real estate agent in the country has a database of people they know, not like weird people that they got from Boomtown. There's sales in there, but that's not people they know. You have a database of people you know, hundreds of them, if not thousands, and I pray you talk to them at least twice a month in some capacity. Right? Email, snail mail, client appreciation events. By the way, who does all of that work? The admin does it for you. It should be that simple. If your admin is only doing transactional work, shame on you. Because you will get a 20-to-1 return on them actually communicating with your database in your name. Now, all we've got to add to that, Katie, is a little blurb at the bottom that says, hey, thanks to you and your support and your referrals, our business continues to grow. Who do you know that might be interested in career in real estate? Like there should never be a touch that goes out to our database that doesn't have a little blurb somewhere indicating that. Because our database is going to give us the best. Now it's weird when you have that one really, really crazy ass client, because we all have those, and they're the ones that respond, Sarah, and they're like, I would love to work with you. You're like, oh dear heaven, like you're the one person on the planet I hope to never talk to again. But come on, guys, we're all in sales, we're all super intelligent. Because I see this blocking agents are like, well, I don't want a weird client responding. If you can't figure out how to blow off a weird client and not like get over it. Does that make sense? Like that'll be so rare compared to how many talented people your database will give you. What else you got, Josh? I want to wrap up in 4 or 5 minutes. Steve, what do you got, big guy?
I was just going to say one thing around that. A big mistake I've made in the past that I will not make again, though, is when they are people you know, and they start pushing back on splits or start pushing back on, oh, I don't want to be in the office or I don't want that. It's really easy to talk yourself into, oh, they're really great or they have this big network or they have whatever. But it's like going back to the standards conversation. No, the standards we set, who we are as a team, what we expect of people, it can't change because you know them, because that, at least for me, especially when I was starting out, was getting me in a massive amount of trouble.
It's really good, Steve. And I would just add to that, it can't change for anyone.
Yeah.
If we go back to basketball, and for you non-sports fans, I'm sure you're getting bored. Like if I need an NBA center, the center, what does the center do? They block shots and they get rebounds, and hopefully they can pass and do some other things. But that's their main purpose on the court. They're the tallest person on the court. So if I need a center in today's world needs to be approximately 7 feet. So if I go and get a 6'5" center and I play against Josh's team and Josh's team has a 7-foot center, how screwed is my team? He's going to out rebound me. He's going to block more shots every single time. Is that fair? So Steve, all I'm hearing is like, we hire to what we need. We should not flex it to the person. Now, when that person comes in, maybe they love door knocking. Maybe they have a big influence. Maybe they love open houses. Maybe they love putting a headset on. You know, maybe they like going to community events and meeting people there. Like, we help them achieve, but let's be clear, we hire to what we need. We don't divert it or change it or bastardize it because this person walked in the door, but they don't like coming to the office, or they don't like your splits, or they don't like working full time. Hire to what you need and stick with that standard, and I guarantee everyone will be more successful and happy.
That's huge. Hire to culture. Culture will protect culture, and you'll know it. You shouldn't, I don't think as a CEO, you should have to come in and ride people or remind people to come into the office or do that. The culture takes care of it. You know, if you've got 5 agents in the office and someone's not coming in, they will handle it. And if they don't, you've got work to do. Right. We had Callie, director of ops, hired an assistant for herself. And she actually came by last night to pick up some ribs and said, "Hey, Kelly's been on the team for 92 days. Are you going to do a 90-day review?" And I said, "Nope, but you are." She said, "Okay. Do you want to be there with me?" "Sure." "I think Kelly probably needs a raise." "Great. Whatever you want. She works for you. I knew you'd come to me with this. I've been waiting for it. Congratulations. You just stepped into leadership." And she cried a little bit, but that's the culture of, she knew that at 90 days, there was a review that needed to be done, and she came to me with it.
It's awesome.
I wouldn't have said anything. Sometimes as a leader, you have to let the team fail, and you have to accept the failure to let the culture grow, right? But that's the number one. When you want people to come to your business and you want to grow, it's like, when do I know when I can grow? Your culture, if you build it right and you stand by it, and even if they're your friend, you keep the same standard, that'll pretty much take care of everything. I know someone's on the call today that was wondering, you know, how do I go from 3 to 5 agents or grow the team? Grow your culture.
It's good.
I think when we focus on growing the team, we're focused on the wrong thing.
Well, what I'd add to that, Josh, is before you go from 3 to 5 agents, or 2 to 5, or 1 to 5, or 10 to 30, make sure that you're internally clear of what your culture is.
Yep.
Ours is 5. There is no one that walks into my office ever that interviews with our company that doesn't hear these 5 things. Number one, if it's sales, we give you leads, Steve. If you come to our company, we are very good at creating leads. They're different degrees, from amazing to warm to weird, but we will give you leads every single day. Number 2, you will not survive off of our leads, Steve. We will teach you how to get your own. Number 2, you will not reach all of your goals with just our leads. We will teach you to get your own. So 1 is we give you leads. 2, we teach you to get your own. 3, I'm going to coach you every single day. Literally, I'm going to coach you every single day to help you reach your goals inside and outside of real estate. And guys, you don't need to own a coaching company to coach somebody every single day. Every one of you is in your position because you are a badass, amazing, extremely successful, extremely accomplished real estate agent. That's why we earn the right to start building a team, because we're just so dang good at selling homes. Is that fair? So you've got so much knowledge to help them and coach them every single day. Number 4 is I'll give you leads, we'll teach you to get your own, I'll coach you every day, and we're fun.
Your admins.
Oh, thank you. Geez, Katie. Yeah, it's been a long day. Number 4, we have the best admin on the planet. Thank goodness Katie's here. We're the best admin on the planet. Steve, I'm going to help you become a skillful surgeon of real estate. And what that means, if you're a surgeon, you don't have to sharpen your own scalpel. You don't have to clean the sheets. You don't have to wash them. You don't have to make the bed. You don't even have to check on the minute details of the patient, because we've got the best admin on the planet to take care of that for you and to keep you well apprised, so you can come in at key moments, maintain the relationship, and solve high-level problems. You are the surgeon, and I've got a team of the best nurses on the planet And number 5, we're really fun. And we can back that up. We had a pool party last night with 30 of our team members, their kids at our house. And we had to kick people out at 11 o'clock. It started at 3. We're really fun. So that's our culture. We give you leads, we create them. We teach you to get your own. We coach you every day. We've got the best nurses on the planet. And by the way, I'll wrap on this, Josh. What DNA does that put on my nurses when they hear me say over and over and over to my agents and to my interviews, we've got the best nurses on the planet?
We better be the best nurses on the planet.
It literally puts DNA on them to show up and do an amazing job for our clients and our agents. So not saying that should be your culture, but that's ours. But the bottom line is what I'd ask of each of you is we've got 100%, 1,000,000% clarity of our culture. Do you have that clarity in your business of what you bring to the table and what your culture is like when you step in the interview room? And if you do, I applaud you. And if you don't, as Josh indicated earlier in the call, be the CEO, schedule an hour or 2 with yourself, turn your cell phone off, and write down what your culture and your perfect world looks like.
I'll share this too. Here's my 4 meetings with sales team this week. And I start the year like this. If you have a pen, grab it. Sit down with every sales agent and ask, what do you want to learn this year? What do you want to earn? What do you need to improve or choose to improve? And how can I support you best?
Can you say those 4 again, Cooley?
What do you want to learn? What do you want to earn? What would you like to improve generally so that you can earn that? And how can I support you best? That's the business plan, not overthinking it. And oh, by the way, they're all ahead of goal. Brian actually has already hit his goal.
It's July 1st and he's already hit his goal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. So he increased the goal, focused from his income. He sent me a text. He's on vacation in Sun River this week, but he said he's totally shifting to leverage and he wants to hire 4 agents by the end of the year and 5 next year. So that's special to me. And that's transformative to the business of he hit his financial goal and now his focus is back on growing the team. And I think that's just a thank you. And that's culture. And it's exciting.
Any final questions for each other, Josh, Craig, or anyone else you want to make sure we cover? You guys get some takeaways today?
You guys nailed it. Great job, guys.
Thanks, Katie.
Marsha, you had to share us today.
I'd love to know from the group, like, are there other topics that you would love to see us crush a mastermind on around supporting the growth of your business? And if you can't think of anything now, let us know, because we want to cater some of these conversations to your needs as well. Great job.
It's a quiet group, Maddie, but I like where you're going with it. Destin, maybe just send out a quick email.
Yeah, Matt, I'd love to think on that today and send you an email or a text.
That'd be great. Thanks, Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah, I'm going from 1 to who knows. So it's very, very beginning. So this is blueprint time and just needing to understand that.
Awesome.
Really
I
cool.
think our next one needs to be more on retention too, because Josh and Reger, you guys are known for keeping agents for such a long time and really diving deep into, like those 5 questions that Josh just said, and what do those team meetings look like when you hold them accountable every week, and what do those conversations look like? I think just diving really deep on retention.
It's really good, Katie. I agree. I think that could be an 8-hour seminar, but I think Josh and I can pull out some key bullets to it and get it down to less than an hour.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go and be a CEO of something and move some companies forward. I hope you all have a productive afternoon. And what I hope most of all is that on July 4th, you turn your phones off for 12 hours and you enjoy the day. And if you're not in a place you're capable of doing that, then I hope when you come back to work on Tuesday, you look at what you need to add to your business so that 6 months from now, you've earned the right to turn your phone off for a day and the world keeps spinning. Is that fair? All right,
Yes.
take care. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.